I seek the power to create a new world, a world without strife.
To Cyrus, the incomplete spirit is the source of suffering. He is the only one. The ferry is almost an hour late, and when it finally docks, no more than a dozen other people and their Pokemon partners walk on board. Your dad, holding tightly onto his Purloin, urges you forward. After everything you've been through in the past 6 months, the wildfire, the funeral, the insurance denial, and now the trip across the continent just to reach the ferry, this should feel momentous. Maybe it's the grief and anxiety, or maybe it's just that welcome video that keeps playing on loop on every TV in the ferry, but it's hard to give the moment its due. It's a nice day for this time of year, and some people have settled on the ferry's outer deck, but it's still a little too cold for you, so you head indoors. You take a seat next to your dad and Purloin, and you try to spend your time watching battle videos on your cross-transceiver. Unfortunately, the internet connection is very spotty, so you eventually decide that if this is going to be a time for new experiences, you might as well get started. You go for a walk around the covered deck, say hello to some of the other people and Pokemon, and watch the scenery go by outside. You're about to check out the food counter when a pink-haired woman with 2 Pokemon catches your eye.
Your mask has an eye patch. That's neat.
He does. He used to be a pirate back in the day. This is Vlad. He was my great-great-great-uncle. Yamask took his soul, so we keep him around.
Why are you going to Uloima?
Well, I'm interested in the Pokemon you can find there. I'm doing research about how Pokemon are connected with the natural power of the world. I'm especially interested in these Pokemon called Lake Guardians. They can teleport and travel all over the world, so they're pretty hard to spot. How about you?
We're moving here, I think, but I don't really know what to expect.
Yeah, me neither. It's supposed to be a second chance sort of place, though. And I think someone is supposed to meet us.
We are now docking at the Nettle Bay Ferry Terminal. Passengers will disembark from the outer deck at the forward end of the ship. If this is your first time visiting the Uloima Democratic Federation, please look for our welcome committee inside the Nettle Bay Terminal. Welcome to the Uloima Democratic Federation. You all walk off the ferry together, and at the terminal, you recognize Ocean and Hope the Ledian from the welcome video. Hey there, welcome! 6 newcomers? Yeah, that should be all of you. Thank you for joining us in the Uloima Democratic Federation. We're very excited to have you. My name is Ocean, my pronouns are he, him, and this is my partner, Hope. Hope accepts all pronouns. We have a bit of bureaucracy to go through before we take you to your accommodations, okay? So first of all, let me make sure I have all of your names. So you must be the father and child pair, Derek and Nova, is that right?
Yes, that's us. I use he, him pronouns, and Nova here uses they, them.
And what about the Purloin? Does it have a name? It wasn't filled in the form.
No, not really.
I call him Purrs every once in a while, but I don't think he likes that.
Purrs. Nah, that could work. See, the thing is, in these parts, we find it weird when you meet someone whose Pokemon partner doesn't have a name. It would be kind of like if I just called you Human. And Human can be your name, but it's kind of weird, right? So, may I call you Purrs? Great. And you must be Jen, along with Vlad and Chance. I see none of the Pokemon are in Poké Balls, which is a great start, but do you have Poké Balls for any of them, or any other Poké Balls at all?
Purloin, hers had an old one, but we got rid of it already. Didn't use it much anyway. We didn't bring any others.
I have this ancient Hisuian heavy ball for Vlad. It's a family heirloom, and if I can't keep it, I really should mail it back to my family. I also have this ball. It belonged to my late Blissey, so I'd like to keep it. It's broken and won't close anyway. And then I also have these 6 heal balls. Can I keep them for emergencies?
I'm sorry, I can't let you keep the heal balls. We do not want to create a situation where anyone is able to trap a Pokemon against their will.
Yeah, I really don't want to be in a situation where I see an injured Pokemon and I can't help them.
In the Roughwood Scouts, they said that you should always have somebody with a Pokeball in case you find an injured Pokemon and need to get it to a Pokemon Center quickly.
I guess that's an understandable attitude, but I cannot let you keep a Pokeball that would be able to capture a Pokemon. But you know, there is an engineer in Quercus who is developing a portable healing device, and because heal balls are relatively new, we haven't seen a lot of them. some heal balls that he can inspect and try to reverse engineer how that technology works would be a really valuable resource. He might be able to use them to create portable healers that don't involve capturing a Pokemon and taking away their autonomy, which is just not something we're willing to do.
I'm happy to share some for research. That sounds like a great project. But until that's done, could I keep 1 or 2 for emergencies? I'm gonna be out in the woods. You never know what could happen.
Jen, this is information you had ahead of time. There's a reason we put that warning in the welcome video. I understand that it's difficult to see a Pokemon in need and not be able to help it, but if you saw a human injured, you wouldn't want to put them in a Pokeball, right? So just let me have those balls. I'll get them delivered to Jeremiah, okay? Thank you.
Fine. I guess there are always trade-offs.
So you just ask? There's no metal detector or searching our bags or anything?
I don't have a reason not to trust you. Keep it that way and you'll do great around here. Now, let's get you to your accommodation, shall we? We can take these e-bikes into town. These trailers should be big enough for all of our Pokemon partners. Ocean Spray is only a few minutes down the road. Hey, Hardwood, we're heading home. Behind you, you notice a Sawsbuck approaching, but it doesn't look like any of the Sawsbuck you're seeing in Unova. The spots on its back are shaped like hearts, among other differences. It approaches Ocean, but seems to keep an eye on you. This is my old friend, Hardwood. I'll take a bike with them, bud. I'll see you there. Ocean Spray is a seaside town with beautiful beaches and a few mid-sized buildings by Unovan standards. Ocean leads the 3 of you into one of them, then asks Jen to wait in the lobby while he gets you and your father settled in. He takes you to a small 2-bedroom apartment on the 3rd floor. Alright, this will be your home for as long as you need it. Most people typically find somewhere else to live permanently in less than a month, but there's no pressure. While you're here, I'll be coming to visit every day or so to make sure you're getting situated and also to help you figure out what kind of place you want to live in, what your needs are, and what type of role you are suited for in our community.
Do you do the first Pokemon partner thing like professors in other regions do? I was gonna get one this year.
Oh, of course. Yes, it's super valuable to go on a journey with some Pokemon friends at your age. You can learn a lot about yourself and your place in the world. I think it'll be better if you take at least a few days to get yourself more situated here first. Maybe in a week or 2 if you're feeling ready, and if your father also agrees that you're ready, we can take you to the Pokemon Rescue, and we'll see what kinds of Pokemon are waiting to be adopted. Oh, that'll be so exciting. Over the next week, you and your father spend the days getting to know Ocean Spray, like where and how to get food without having to pay for any of it. You explore the neighborhood and the beaches, trying to get used to being on your own for the big day. Ocean Spray is a nice place, the people are very friendly, but now that you know you'll be getting a partner Pokemon in a few days, time feels like it's stretching out. Until...
Finally!
Okay, I guess that means you're ready. Let's get going and I'll show you a few things along the way. Let's get you some important apps on that cross-transceiver. This first one is a map of Uloima to help you get around. This one is called Poké Naturalist, and you can use your device's camera to identify Pokemon. You can also look up all kinds of information other people have logged about Pokemon. And this last one is for tracking tokens. So you know the gym badges that you can get in other regions? Tokens are kinda like badges, but not just for battling. If you help someone or take the initiative to do something or learn a new skill, someone might give you a token. The tokens you collect are a record of your interests and your abilities, and a lot of people become attached to their tokens, so the app helps you keep track of them. The Rescue is just a small house with a few small enclosures attached to an expansive park where all kinds of Pokemon roam free. A tall man is already waiting for you at the entrance.
Hello, hello. Good to see you, Ocean. You must be Derek and Nova. Looking for a new partner Pokemon, are we? Well, I've picked out 3 little Pokemon that I think could be a good fit for you. Ocean, Derek, I'll just have you 2 wait here while Nova and I go looking for these little troublemakers. Shall we?
Just around the back of the house, Eric points to a cat-like Pokemon who is playing with a small piece of something and setting it on fire. You'll feel your blood pressure rise suddenly, and you take a step back.
Ho ho, is Phosphor here a little too feisty for you?
It's not its personality. I like Pokemon, but fire isn't good right now.
Oh, okay, I understand. Fire is something we have to be very careful around. It can be very helpful, but it can also be very dangerous. Let's see if we can find one of the other two for you.
You follow Eric, but before you walk away, you remember to take a photo with that app Ocean showed you.
Phosphor, the burning Pokemon, a fire type. It is very playful and likes to ignite random objects. It generates so much body heat that it needs almost no fur.
At a beach, Eric shows you a bird-like Pokemon that is sucking water in and then spitting it back out through its beak. You take a photo right away.
Pipier, the filtering Pokemon, a water type. It is careful by nature and prefers shallow water. It is often seen on sandy beaches.
They feed by consuming the impurities in the water they suck in. So what they spit out is completely pure. Very helpful if you run out of clean water while adventuring. Oh, and right here behind you is the last little friend I wanted you to meet. Up in that tree, you see?
Surplay, the healing Pokemon, a grass type. It rubs itself against others as a show of affection. Its bark, which has healing properties, peels off and regrows every year.
They are excellent healers. They can help you with all the little scrapes and bruises that you will get while adventuring, or even if you get a fever or the like. What do you think?
I think I've decided. I'm going to ask Pipier to come with me. Hi there, little Pipier. Do you like playing in the water like that? Would you like to come with me? Yeah? That makes me so happy.
Would you like to give it a name? If it helps, I believe this one is a female. It can be hard to tell for sure with them though.
I think I'll call you Daisy. What do you think?
You take Daisy back to meet your father and the others. After a quick round of introductions, you all head back to Ocean Spray. You spend the next couple of days making sure you know how to care for Daisy, and that you have all of the equipment and supplies that you need. Now that you have the Pokenaturalist app, you can register all the Pokemon you see around town. Pidgey, Murkrow, Starly, Squovit, Wingull, and Starred Zigzagoon. So, Nova, you and Daisy are heading out tomorrow? You must be thrilled! We'll run into each other at some point, but if you need anything, just ask. Remember what I told you. Everyone out there has your back. And try not to get carried away and befriend too many Pokemon right away. Trust me, they can be a handful to care for, and if they are traveling with you, they are your responsibility. Good luck, kid. Then, the time comes. Your father kisses your forehead and tries to hold back tears as he watches you walk away. It's your first time really on your own, so you want to set an achievable goal. You decide to head to the next town over right away, just to say that you did it. According to your map, this is the town of Kinnicknick. The path there is easy and well signed. You're mostly by yourself on the route, but every once in a while a cyclist zooms by. You see many more Pokemon out here, away from the city. Sentret, Cherubi, Bunnelby, Pachirisu, Rookidee, Yanma, Fletchling, and
Flocker, the aircraft Pokemon, a flying and fighting type. It creates vortices of air between its wings to propel it forward at high speeds. It relentlessly pursues challengers who cross its path.
Thankfully, you managed to avoid getting in its sights. Unfortunately, the days are still short this early in the spring. When you spot a few Hoot-Hoot, you know it's time to pick up the pace. You reach Kinnicknick and get directions to the local rest house just as the sky is going dark. Kinnicknick is a very small town, very rustic, with lots of trees and bushes lining every space between buildings. In the morning, the rest house host tells you there will be an event at the famous Rubus Gardens, so you decide to check it out.
Welcome to the Rubus Gardens. The Rubus Gardens community is very passionate about grass-type Pokemon. They can be really sensitive to humidity and heat, so we try to have environments here where any grass-type Pokemon will thrive. Say, since that Pipier is a water-type Pokemon, could you help us water our grass types? There's going to be a big dance this afternoon, and they'll feel much better if they're hydrated.
As you explore the garden looking for Pokemon to water, you see lots of Budew and Roselia, Cherubi and Cherim, Deerling, and even a Leafeon. You also see some Bug-type Pokemon, Weedle, Kakuna, and Beedrill, many Combi, but very few Vespiquen. Instead, you see
Madosme, the independent Pokemon, a bug and ground type, and an evolved form of Combi. It cares for other Combi in its honeycomb. Once all the Combi have evolved and grown out, the honeycomb is discarded. The structure is robust and can be used for human construction.
There are also lots of Caterpie and Metapod, but the Butterfree don't look like the ones you've heard of.
Striped Butterfree, the butterfly Pokemon, a bug and normal type and an evolved form of Metapod. They gather in large groups around shallow water or muddy muddy ground to drink and absorb nutrients from the soil. This behavior is called puddling. They enjoy grooming their fur.
This striped butterfree is so cool that you decide to befriend a caterpie. With so many around, it's easy to find one that is willing to travel. Consulting Poké Naturalist, you decide it must be female, and you offer it the name Tiger's Eye. This seems to please it.
Hi again, Nova. I really appreciate how you've been watering our grass-type friends, and I see you've even made a friend of your own. I wanted to give you this token. The dancing will begin in a few minutes. See you around.
Around you, music starts playing almost spontaneously. There doesn't seem to be a band or a stage anywhere, but someone starts tapping a drum, then someone joins in with a flute, an accordion. All kinds of instruments seem to be played by people all across the park. Somehow it sounds good enough that the people in Pokemon have something to dance to.
Well, ain't seen yous around before. Now who's you supposed to be?
This boy has quite the entourage. Phosphor, Rockruff, Combuskin, Incineroar. Seeing these blazing Pokemon, you start to back away.
Nova, huh? Good to know yous. I'm the greatest, coolest, amazingest trainer around. Artistical, cosmical drawings, but yous can just calls me AC. I'm kind of a big deal, got me a few badges before coming here. Hey, what's with the stepping back? That ain't polite. I thought we was conversating.
I'm sorry, but I can't. Fire-type Pokemon make me uncomfortable now.
Hey, Elcat, turn it down. Yeah, I know I hate it too, but the kid can't take the heat. Come on, play nice. Anyhow, I heard there was some kind of shindig going on, so I came to party. Well, all I see is a bunch of flowers and spinning and stuff. It's boring. Hey, let's battle.
Okay. But only with Daisy. I only just met Tiger's Eye, so we don't know each other well yet.
You ain't gotta worry about that. I'll go easy on you, kid. Now let's see, how about newbie to newbie, eh? Yo, Matchstick, get over here.
And with that, you're in your first official battle. Daisy has the type advantage, but AC's battling experience helps him edge out a close win.
Well, you ain't too bad, kid. I can see ourselves having a nice, beautiful relationship.
Once I'm more comfortable with Fire-type Pokemon again, I'll definitely make it a real battle for you.
Looking forward to it. I'm gonna check out more of this party. Maybe find some fun somewhere. Smell you later.
After a few more days seeing all that Kinnikinnick has to offer, you decide it is time to make your way to the big city, Quercus. The journey there is long, and this time you choose to take it slowly. Give yourself a couple of days to spend more time exploring, looking for Pokemon you can photograph, and even doing a bit of battle practice with Daisy and Tiger's Eye. Eventually, you reach Bibarel Lake, which looks to you more like two lakes separated by a large Bibarel dam. Besides a family of Bidoof and Bibarel, you also spot Krabby, Ducklet, Tadbulb, and a Pokemon you recognize from the welcome video.
Flower, the generator Pokemon, a fighting and electric type. It dips its tails in water to generate electricity, which it stores in the cables around its body. It uses a log as an anchor in strong currents.
You notice a small, pink and blue Pokemon hovering above the lake's surface, and is it looking right at you? But just as you go to take its picture, it disappears in a flash, and as if that wasn't strange enough, moments later, a large dragon bursts out of the lake with a person riding on its back.
Well, Rogers, no luck this time.
What Pokemon is that?
Oh, hello. That's Rogers. He's my grandpa. He's a grandpa. Pretty much raised me. I'm Sage, by the way. I use they own pronouns.
I'm Nova. Nice to meet another NB. Were you looking for something in the lake?
I was looking for a Pokemon, but couldn't find it today. It's said to live on the lakes, so I like to try the lakes more while trying to find it.
Were you looking for one of the lake guardians? I think I just saw one.
You did?
I think that's what it was. It was pink and blue, it appeared and disappeared. I couldn't get a photo though.
I guess that's possible. Mesprit is attracted to people with strong, complicated emotions. Who knows? So, hey, if you ever need someone to talk to, not just about Mesprit, I run the counseling center in Trillium. I help a lot of newcomers and wandering kids just like you. I even offer a little challenge to the Wanderers, almost like a little gym battle, if you know what those are. Anyway, here's my number. Come find me in Trillium sometime, okay? Now, can you tell me which way Mesprit went?
That way?
Sage blows on a whistle, and an Altaria comes to meet them. But this Altaria looks different from the one in the other Poké Naturalist photos. Sage mounts the Altaria, and they fly away with Rogers at their side.
Is that one of those different colored Pokemon?
Back on the way to Quercus, Tiger's Eye evolves into a Metapod thanks to your training. You see many of the same Pokemon, but also Mischievous, Corvisquire, Vullaby, Rufflet, Furret, and
Dyad, the Equilibrium Pokemon, a fairy and ghost type. These Pokemon circle each other constantly. They express their emotions through their dance.
you feel mesmerized by the intricate twirling dance they do around each other and decide to look up care information. So far, you've been handling Daisy and Tiger's Eye pretty well.
I love the way you dance. Would you like to travel with me? It doesn't have to be forever. And I think I'd like to call you Eclipse. What do you think?
The Dyad must like it, because now they are circling your head. When you walk, they follow. Later, you see another Pokemon you don't recognize.
Marmot, the Incisor Pokemon, a normal type. Its bite is strong enough to puncture metal, but it usually defends its burrow only by tripping oddly.
As you scroll through its Pokenaturalist data, the Marmot lunges at you with a loud chirp. It startles you. You stumble backward, trip, and go sprawling.
Ow. Ouch. I'm okay. The Marmot was just defending its burrow. It didn't actually attack me.
As you get up, you check that you're not injured, and Daisy, Tiger's Eye, and Eclipse all seem to be fine too, but not your cross transceiver. The screen is cracked, and parts of it are black. Thankfully, the call function still seems to be working.
Hi, Dad. I'm doing okay. I just wanted to let you know. I fell and cracked my cross transceiver. Sorry.
Oh no, Nova. I'm glad you're okay though. Your camera isn't working, but at least I can hear you just fine. Where are you? Oh, so you should be arriving in Quercus pretty soon. I hope you don't have any emergencies before then, but Quercus is a big city. I'm sure you'll be able to find help there. By the way, Nova, it's perfect timing for your call, because I've just decided where I'm going to be settling long term. I'm going to help at the community kitchen in Trillium making bread. I've got to do a bit of packing here, but when you make it to Trillium, stop by and say hello, okay? Love you, kiddo.
You dawdle less the rest of the way into the city. As soon as you can, you look for someone who can help you, and you get directions to something called a repair cafe. The repair cafe looks almost like a very large exercise gym. There are stations everywhere, each with different machines. Everything from table saws to arc welders to computers, and plenty you don't recognize. People are working together to make and build things all over the place, with Pokemon like Clink and Flower testing or powering various machines. One man is hunched over a table, holding small electronics in his large hands, and heal balls on the table next to him. A mousehold brings him tools and pieces, and a Rotom occasionally zaps the electronics.
Excuse me? I hope I'm not bothering you. My name's Nova. Could you help me fix this?
Oh, hi. A cross transceiver? Yeah, let me have a look. Your screen is cracked, obviously. That would normally be pretty easy to fix, but you can see this part of the screen is completely black. Yes, we might have a bigger problem, unfortunately. I don't know if I'll have the right parts, because this device is proprietary, right? They weren't really made to be repaired. You know, we do have open source devices that we build here, but I'm not sure that we have any that are assembled available right now. So I can have a look at this, but it might be a good idea for you to go to the logistics office down the block and see if they have a spare one. They're called Fedigear.
Will it have the same number as mine? I need to have the same number and get contacts off of this one, so my dad won't freak out.
What we'll do is give you a local number and then reroute your existing phone number to it. That way, you don't have to use the Seedgear network to make and receive local calls, and you don't have to pay for minutes or data. But if anyone calls your old number, you'll still get it. Once you get a Fedigear, bring it back here, and I'll help you with that.
The logistics office reminds you of that time you had to tag along while your father got his driver's license renewed, except there's no line and very few people are waiting. The people behind the counter look just as frazzled as you remember, though. Are each of them working on 2 computers at a time?
Excuse me? I need a new Fedigear. My cross transceiver broke?
Sure, just a sec. Hey, Jerry, get me box 32. Here, Fedigear. What's your name? Nova? Got it. What else you need?
That was everything. Thank you. Are you Ocean's sister or something? You look a lot like him.
Oh, of course you know my brother. Yeah, I'm Rickety. This hoarder over here is my friend Shutter.
You look like you could use some more help back there.
Oh, we always need help, kid. I don't know if you're quite ready for logistics work yet, though. I guess it wouldn't hurt to tell you what we do here. We work with logistics committees across the entire region to make sure that everyone is able to access what they need in a reasonable amount of time. There's a lot to coordinate. Food, electronics, furniture. There's housing as well, but we don't do the housing. That's the housing committee. We try to keep everything in order on the computers here, but we have so many databases. Every community's got their own infrastructure. It's a lot to work with. And it can get complicated, but it's important work.
That sounds really cool, but I don't think I can help with it.
Well, there's a reason we need more help.
Maybe you need a Porygon to help you.
Yeah, maybe that would be good, but you know they were developed by a corporation, right? Porygon don't come cheap. And then there's the whole inventing a new species of person, and that's not something I want to wrap my brain around. I've already spent 2 whole minutes talking to you, kid. I gotta get back to work. Sorry. Have fun out there.
Welcome back, Nova. I'm afraid I really won't be able to repair your cross transceiver. It is busted. Any luck with the Feta gear? Ah, good. Okay, well, let's get it all transferred and set up for you. And then I can repurpose or at least recycle some of these cross transceiver parts.
After Jeremiah shows you how to navigate the Fedigear interface, it's a bit clunky, but you'll get used to it, he goes back to working on his Heal Ball project. You look around the room and notice a colorfully dressed person with a Tinkaton and a Mawile next to them, building something out of wood. The Mawile is holding a tray with 6 cups of coffee on it.
That's a lot of coffee.
Yeah, I'm basically going to be working here all night. We're supposed to put on a big contest at the Festival of Resistance in a few weeks, but I'm so behind.
Do you need help?
Oh, yeah, thank you. Here, you can use these brushes to paint those pieces from the backdrop over there. Do you know about the Festival of Resistance? It's one of my favorite festivals. It celebrates fighting for social betterment. You're supposed to reflect on your local and regional politics and how to make things better. I personally resist the idea of Pokemon battling. I don't think it's fair for us to force Pokemon to fight each other. This organization I'm part of, Please Let All Souls Maintain Asylum, always puts on a big Pokemon contest for everyone to see what a Pokemon and human partnership would look like without fighting each other.
Please let all schools maintain asylum. So, plasma?
Huh. I've never heard anyone call it that. That's a weird word. Anyway, we're building props and backdrops. This one here with the hammer is Belle, and that one is Molly.
You spend some time working with Poppy. Faye drinks coffee after coffee, but you're not touching any. Eventually, you're too tired and you need to go find the nearest rest house.
We really appreciate your help putting these together. Here's a little flyer for the contest if you want to join. And here's a pamphlet about my group. Please Let All Souls Maintain Asylum.
You spend the following weeks exploring the city. The food is eclectic and delicious. The architecture varies from traditional Galarian styles to towering totem poles to ornate Jotonian temples to skyscrapers worthy of Castelia City, except dripping with balcony and rooftop gardens. One of your days is wholly absorbed by the local museum, especially the Natural History Wing, which draws you in with a life-size recreation of 2 Pokemon that once roamed the island.
Mamoker, the expressive Pokemon, a rock and ground type. They spew a reddish pigment from their trunks, which they use to mark cave walls, trees, and each other. Their trunks are as dexterous as a human hand. Petrunk, the rock art Pokemon, a rock and ground type, and an evolved form of Mamoker. Its body produces multiple pigments, and its tusks are hard enough to carve stone. Scholars believe humans learned painting and carving techniques from Petrunk.
You also learn about other fossils and much of the local flora and fauna, and the risks they face because of climate change. On the first day of the Festival of Resistance, you notice a huge crowd gathered in front of the government building, much bigger than you'd ever seen there before. It looks like a carnival, lots of booths with different activities going on, but there are also many people constantly streaming in and out of the government building. One group of people catches your eye, an informal battlefield where someone is battling a Pokemon you haven't seen before.
Celestial, the navigation Pokemon, a water and psychic type, and an evolved form of Spotted Seal. The spots on its back shine brighter on moonless nights, while the gem on its head responds to the full moon. They can sense the position of stars and planets and use them to navigate even in their sleep.
The crowd cheers when the Celestial sends an Amoonguss rolling off the battlefield.
Incredible! An astonishing, powerful blow from Emerson.
Come to the Pokemon contest tonight! Beginner's welcome! It's a much more civilized way of bonding with your Pokemon.
The crowd seems undisturbed by Poppy's interruption, even though her flyers are scattered across the field.
You want in on this action? Only one Pokemon at a time. As soon as you lose, you're out of the ring. You're up against our reigning monarch, Emerson. Go forth, show us what you got.
Tiger's Eye, use Harden.
But Emerson's telekinesis picks up Tiger's Eye and deposits her back in your arms. The crowd chuckles.
Don't forget contest tonight. There is a better way than battling.
Alright. I'll give you another shot. Down with the monarchy.
Okay. Tiger's Eye, use Bug Bite.
You toss Tiger's Eye back into the fray, and what's that? One of Poppy's flyers landed on Emerson's face. It's distracted. Tiger's Eye's Bug Bite actually lands a hit.
What an astonishing hit. Emerson is absolutely flabbergasted by this attack.
Emerson is jiggling its way off the field. It's conceded. Incredible, you've actually won. What? Tiger's Eye is evolving. Congratulations, Tiger's Eye evolved into a striped Butterfree. The crowd is going wild.
Nova and Tiger's Eye are the new monarchs. Down with the monarchy.
Congratulations, trainer. I'm Nina, and this is my partner, Volcarona Helios. Let's see if you can take us down.
And somehow you do. Tiger's Eye manages to avoid Helios' heatwave attacks and lands enough hits of echoed voice for Helios to concede.
Down with the monarchy.
A trainer with a starred Zigzagoon enters the field. The Tiger's Eye's adrenaline must have worn off. The Zigzagoon's double team and quick attack combination is too much to keep up with. Tiger's Eye rests on your head, and you walk off the field.
Nova, right? I'm impressed you were able to defeat Helios. Care for a walk at Camasia Park?
The park showcases a variety of environments. As you walk through a highly cultivated garden of imported plants, you spot
Unpeasant, the cocky Pokemon, a flying and fairy type. They were brought to Uloima by Galarian settlers. However, they depend on pampering of humans for survival and have not spread widely.
So, what brought you to Uloima?
We moved here after our family home burned down in the wildfires in Unova last year. I'm doing alright, but it's weird not having a mom anymore. I'm not very comfortable with fire types right now, but Helios seems nice.
Yeah, he's a good bug. You know, I study Pokemon like him that radiate a kind of divine power. Do you feel it? There are other Pokemon in Uloima like him. I've even heard whispers about some of those Pokemon becoming gods.
Becoming gods? I guess some people think of Volcarona as a god.
Yes, one is said to have defeated this giant ice dragon in Unova a long time ago. Many other legendary Pokemon have been sighted on this island too, like the Lake Guardians.
As you continue the conversation, you walk to other parts of the park. In a meadow of native wildflowers, you find dozens of
Bittersweet Petalil, the bull Pokemon, a grass type. They grow fastest when buried in soil and exposed to bright sunlight. The leaves on their heads are very nutritious and grow back quickly.
When you happen upon an amphitheater in the park, Poppy is decorating it.
Oh my ribbons, Nova! This is perfect! We don't have enough performers for the contest tonight, but you'll join in, right? Oh, thank you! The judges are looking for creativity and beauty. All you have to do is put on a little performance with one of your partners using their moves to dazzle the audience and make an amazing little piece of art. I'll show you what Molly and I do.
Poppy gives you a quick demonstration that helps you brainstorm what you can do. You choose to perform with Eclipse, and even though you have little prep time and no experience, the audience seems to enjoy your performance. But you're up against 3 talented members of Please Let All Souls Maintain Asylum, and the best audience response goes to a trainer with a
Sweetroot Lilligant, the nurturing Pokemon, a grass and fairy type and an evolved form of Bittersweet Petalil. Their dancing encourages plants to grow. Flowers become more colorful and fruits more nutritious. They are often raised in your gardens and farms.
Really good job, Nova. Thanks for joining. Here's a ribbon as a token of my thanks. Not many people like to try things our group does, so I really appreciate someone new coming in. Can I ask you something? What do you like about battling?
It's a way to get to know your Pokemon better. It helps them get stronger so that they can evolve. It also helps you feel more confident. If you're going somewhere with a Pokemon, it's good to know that you can count on them as much as they count on you.
Yeah, I see what you mean. I've had a fair share of accidents with Pokemon. This scar on my arm is from an Ursaring, but I can't blame it. It was just hungry and doing what it needed to do. I guess I wish everyone could get along, and it pains me to see people getting along by harming each other. I get that there are limits and people don't usually push past them, but there are real dangers to this. I feel like battles just lead to bigger and bigger battles, ultimately leading to war.
What about Pokemon that really like to battle?
I don't have all the answers. I see something wrong in the world and I try to fix it in any way I can.
When you visit the festival again the next day, an old person and a dog-like Pokemon approach you.
Hello, child. Your name is Nova? I'm Ray, and this is my old friend Nosy.
Coastal Furfru, the woolly Pokemon, a normal and ice type. Its dense fur coat can be sheared once a year and used to make blankets and clothes. Furfru blankets were once an economic force in the region.
I'm glad to see someone as young as you at the Festival of Resistance. The most important reason we hold this festival right here in front of this building is that we want to invite people to come and be part of governing this region. We want the people to be part of making our society a better place. You have to shape the worlds that you live in. In about 30 minutes or so, we're going to start a town hall in the main chambers in there. I would really like it if you attended it. It can be very intimidating the first time, but the earlier you get to know how things work here, the better you will understand what your part is in this federation. So, you'll attend? That fills my heart with joy. I'm gonna see if I can convince a few of these other youngsters to come as well. Nosy, can you show Nova the way to the meeting chambers?
You follow Nosy inside. You see posters with sayings like, "No gods, no masters," and "From each according to their ability, to each according to their need." In the main chambers, a Sylveon comes up to you and wraps one of its neck ribbons around your hand. It guides you to a seat not too far from the podium, and then lays itself over your lap as soon as you sit down. Slowly, the chamber fills up with humans and Pokemon.
For those who don't know, my name is Ray. I will be the facilitator today. The purpose of this meeting is to air out grievances, bring up ideas, and everything else you have been bottling up because it was too cold outside to come to a meeting during the winter.
One after another, people go up to the podium. They talk about inefficiencies in garbage collection, unclear guidelines for safe disposal of hazardous chemicals, people who don't contribute enough to their community garden. Sometimes the audience applauds, sometimes other people add to or even counter what the speaker says. The Sylveon doesn't stay on your lap. It gets up and chooses someone else to sleep on for a while. Ray sits down next to you.
I saw Oracle sleeping on your lap earlier. That means it likes you. I really thank you for coming. Wanderers don't usually bother with all this. Now that you've seen a bit of how this meeting works, is there anything you would like to bring up?
Brigadier, the logistics office looks very overworked. I think they need a lot more volunteers there.
That is a great point. Can I convince you to repeat it for the entire meeting to hear? All you have to do is catch the eye of that person over there, raise your hand, and make sure they see you. Good.
A few minutes later, it is your turn at the podium.
Hi, the logistics committee seems to be extremely understaffed. They need help. Could people volunteer more often over there? They do a lot of work.
Thank you, Nova. That is an excellent reminder that we all need to be more involved with the day-to-day running of our communities.
Ladies and gentlemen, and all those in between and off the grid, I would like to, once again, bring up the problem of Pokemon battles. At the very least, we need a lot more regulations on battles, and preferably we start teaching that Pokemon battles are negative. I have documents that show the many negative health outcomes of battling. I have testimonies from people who have been hurt very badly by battling, both participants and bystanders. I have pictures of the injuries that Pokemon have gotten from these battles. I truly believe that encouraging violence of any kind, including that of Pokemon battles, hurts the community as a whole. Thank you very much.
Many people object to Poppy. One person says battles have a long tradition and without it they would be losing something in their life. Another person says Pokemon battling is like a ball game, that sometimes you trip and hurt yourself playing ball, but that doesn't mean you can't play the game. Poppy, how many times do we have to go over this? I've never been to a meeting that you're at, and you don't bring this up. I think it's clear from the responses here that you have not garnered the consensus of the people. If you really object to battling that much, maybe you should spend more time in, I don't know, Red Cedar. They don't do a ton of battles over there.
Listen, Ocean, I get it. I annoy you, but this is something that I fucking believe in. Quercus is my home, and the Pokemon here deserve not to be treated with violence. I will keep standing up for what I believe in until everyone else sees it my way. It's not my problem if you can't listen to me for 5 fucking minutes.
I'm sorry, Poppy. Let's take a step back here. Ocean, maybe you misspoke. Perhaps you'll want to apologize for the way you said that. Poppy, I don't think you need to leave this city to pursue your ideals, but we have had this conversation before. We have tried to reach consensus, and most of the time it's a small group of people who oppose Pokemon battling. We want to find a way that we can all be happy, but we haven't been able to do that yet, have we?
No, we haven't. And I can't blame Ocean entirely. I'm sorry for my outburst. I yield my time.